All right. Well, I went on Facebook. I'm going to do this a lot tonight because I have a bad habit of just pulling my shirt out. Went on Facebook and I asked a question. If Jennifer and I did a podcast, would you subscribe? I think is what I asked. And so far, a lot of people have said yes. So we've been kicking around this idea for a very long time. And we decided, you know what, man, I can't worry about the lighting and all the little things that I want it to be so it's perfect. I just realized something. I'm not even wearing nothing. I don't have a watch on. They're over there.
There's two of them sitting right
It's okay. I don't need a watch for a podcast. But so we just decided we're just going to do it. And if it turns out great, great. If it doesn't, whatever. But we were gonna do our very first podcast, kind of give you guys a background. Can you do me a favor? Can you not stare at me the whole time?
Okay.
Can you
just stare in the camera?
We're speaking to the audience.
Okay.
Plus the camera loves you a whole lot more than it loves me. But what we decided to do for our very first podcast was, sorry about that, was to give a little background to how this whole thing started out. Almost 30 years ago. So I met Jennifer when she was 19. She is now 48.
How old were you? 28?
28. Yeah.
Perv.
Remember, she didn't look like a 19-year-old. She looked like a 20-year-old. And I look like a young 28-year-old. So it's going to be 30 years now. Just a lot of people don't know these things, but there was a year and a half that we took off. We separated.
You just like fast forwarded so much. First off, I think we were dating for almost 5 years and we were still not engaged.
Yeah, I know that.
And then that happened. And then we split up for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then we got back together.
We did. Obviously, here we are, 22 years married later. But I'm going to tell you my version of how it all started. So I had a buddy of mine, Louis Guzman, if that's his real name. He was a liar. You told me he was a liar. You have to speak into the mic.
I wasn't going to speak, but yeah, he was
so
a liar.
I had a buddy of mine who was dating Jennifer, and he's like, hey, you got to see this girl I'm dating, man. She's super hot. I was like, okay. So went to, was it Crocos?
Crocos.
Went to a club. If my memory serves me correctly, you were on the dance floor wearing a red jumper. I think that's what you were wearing that night.
I don't remember.
I think, anyway. And I was like, sweet Lord, wow, look at this woman. But I wasn't that kind of guy. I was like, no, that's my buddy's girlfriend. I'm going to respect that. So anyway, it's like, I don't even know if we officially met that night. Like, I don't even know if he introduced me to you. I just remember seeing you from a distance.
I would assume so, because at some point I had your phone number.
You did? I don't know how.
I'm sorry. I had your beeper number.
She had my pager number. That's how far back we're going. She didn't have my cell number because there weren't cell phones back then. Were there cell phones back then?
There were, but they were the brick
Yeah,
ones. And you had money if you had those kind.
Yeah, I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So anyway. So I get a page on my pager. That's a number I don't recognize, and I'm at work, and I call the number, and it's this young lady right here. I was like, okay. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think he said, let's get together or something like that.
Probably.
I was like, yeah, probably not. Because you're dating my buddy Louis. And I don't know what you said. I don't know I don't remember that whole story. But I do remember hanging up with Jennifer and immediately calling my buddy Louis and say, hey, dude, that Jennifer girl just paged me. I want to say text. Paged me. And she wants to get together. And like, what's the deal? And thankfully, they had broken up a couple weeks ago, and I said, okay, so would you mind? And Louis was like, no, dude, we only dated for a couple weeks. I don't care. Go ahead. If you want to go out with her, go out with her. So here we are. So we started dating immediately. Immediately.
We were not dating immediately. You were kind of still dating Kim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kim, can I say her last name?
Kim Schoenebeck.
Schoenebeck. Hey, she might watch the podcast. Who knows?
Yeah.
I was dating Kim Schoenebeck. Yeah.
And
All
she
right.
was beautiful. I was very intimidated by her.
She was beautiful. I wonder if she's still
Platinum
beautiful.
blonde hair to
Yeah.
her waist.
Yeah. But, I mean, you had her beat for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, yeah, so we started dating, and I think you just kind of like moved right into my parents' house with me at the time.
I don't think I moved
I was
right
living
in.
with my parents
I
at
didn't
28.
move right in. I mean, it was probably like 2 months.
Yeah, but you were pretty much there every day.
I was. I used to hang out with your mom.
She used to hang out with my mom. I used to go ahead, say it.
I hate to admit this, but I am a former smoker. But
Right there. Yeah.
him and his mom.
You used to smoke Benson Hedges or
No,
Marlboro Lights?
I just would smoke cigarettes with her, and we would watch TV
Yeah.
together.
So I'd come home from work and Jennifer would be smoking cigarettes, hanging out on the couch with my mom, which is weird. Now, that was a deal breaker. I did tell her one day, I said, there's no way I'm going to continue to date someone who smokes. So
I quit.
we took care of that.
Yeah.
But, and then I don't want to go through every detail, but we got an apartment together.
We did.
We started living together in sin. We did. Started going to church together, too. Started going to Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, but I don't think that was until
No. I think we
we were in it for a while before we started going to church.
Yeah. And then there was a disagreement. Actually, we were engaged.
We were engaged.
Yeah. And then Jennifer wasn't quite sure. Right? Go ahead.
I would just say I wasn't happy. I wouldn't say I wasn't quite sure. I just wasn't happy.
She wasn't happy with my behavior.
Our relationship.
Yeah. It was just, I was just an a-hole. And anyway, it was actually a good thing that it happened that way because we split up for a year and a half. We grew as humans.
Yeah.
She realized that she couldn't live without me. And, hey. And of course, I realized I couldn't live without her either. So, but I will tell you a funny story. So, her parents used to live in the same neighborhood as my parents, and she would literally drive by the house. I don't even know, maybe on a daily. Yeah, and it would piss me off. Oh my God, it would just enrage me because she wouldn't even look over at the house. So one day, she drove by, and I gave her a little wave. You want to tell the rest?
No?
Oh.
You're doing a good job.
Okay. And so anyway, I waved at her. We made eye contact. She pulled over and I walked up to the car and just started a conversation. And I think you started crying.
I did cry.
Yeah. And she's like, I think I made a mistake.
I did.
Yeah.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah. Can you?
Okay.
Yeah, she can.
Of course I can.
Yeah. So anyway, my mom was really sick at the time. Like on her deathbed, so to speak, close to that. So I really didn't have much room in my life for anything else. So we kind of started talking. And then we just got back together.
I mean, we got married pretty fast. I feel we got married pretty fast because your mom was sick.
Yeah. Well,
What month did she pass away? In March?
March 5th.
Right. We got married that September.
September. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So Jen was living on her own. I was still living at home. And so we started, getting back into the relationship.
but we were just doing things differently.
Yeah.
We went,
A whole lot differently.
yeah.
Started going back to church.
We went through an intense premarital class.
15 weeks.
Yeah, and it's funny because when at the end of it, you're to meet with one of the pastors and they're to sign off on you getting married. And
Well, they wouldn't marry you if they didn't think you were ready.
right. So when we go in there, we just happen to go in there on a day. We were having an argument, and,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I can't marry you guys."
Well, he asked us asked us a series of questions.
Right.
And
I guess he didn't like one of my answers.
didn't like one of her answers, and he was like, "Listen, I don't think you guys are ready." But I'm not saying at the time he was wrong, but obviously overall he missed the mark on that one.
Yeah.
But we actually went down to the courthouse to get our premarital
Our marriage certificate.
marriage license.
A marriage license. That's
Yeah,
right. That's right. A marriage
in Florida.
license.
I don't know if it's different state to state, but we had to get a marriage license, and we had a date set to get married. Do you remember the date that we were going to get
I
married?
don't.
I don't either. But anyway, while we were at the courthouse, I was like, "You want to just go ahead and do it now?" And we did. We did it September 14th. 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad it's 2000 because it's easy to remember. So, yeah, we went downstairs and had our marriage license, and we just went ahead and got some lady from the court. What do they call those people?
Justice of the peace?
Justice of the peace, maybe?
I think.
Clerk of the court? I don't know.
know.
Anyway, some lady had authority to marry us, and so we got married. And what's funny is no one believed us at
Yeah.
first.
And then they thought I was
And
pregnant.
she thought, yeah. they
I'm
thought-
like, no.
Yeah, so, but she wasn't. She wasn't pregnant. That's not why we did it. We just did it because we just wanted to do it, and we knew that we just didn't want to live without each other. So, anyway, so we got married. We went to Service Merchandise, bought wedding bands, wedding bands, and that's it. So, that's where we are.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons we renewed our vows. We were going to renew our vows on our 10th year anniversary, but my dad had just passed, and we just didn't feel right. Maybe we didn't even have the money.
Well,
Probably
no,
a chance
your
we-
dad had been sick that whole year,
Yeah.
and that was the year we were going to do it, and so we didn't do it that year.
We didn't do it. So then we waited another 10 years, and we renewed our vows 2 years ago, 20 years
And
later.
I had a wedding.
And and she actually bought a wedding dress, and that was an awesome day because we had a friend of ours in Michigan, Pastor Don Smith, come all the way from Michigan to South Carolina to renew our vows, and it was pretty damn awesome. We had a great time. All our friends were there. So anyway, I think we brought everyone up to speed.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's hold on. So when I met Jennifer, her son Aaron was 2, or
Just turned 2.
Just turned 2. Anthony was
7.
7, 5. Anthony's 5 years older than you.
Oh,
right?
yeah. 5.
Anthony was 5.
That's right.
And then we had Allie.
Yep.
Yeah, who's going to be 21 in
A week and a half.
a week and a half. Yeah. So anyway, that is officially our first podcast. I think it was long enough, but that's kind of give you guys. I don't think many people know this about us, where we started. Future podcasts will involve how we managed to last 22 years.
Among other things.
What would be the other things?
Other topics.
Oh,
It's not going to be, hey, listen, this
Yeah.
is how we last. Oh,
Yeah.
next week. Oh, this is how we last.
yeah. We've got a whole list of topics. I'll probably pull most of them off my Facebook page. A lot of relationship topics, and one of my favorite topics is sex. The kids are in the room. But anyway, we appreciate you guys watching
What did you say?
our very first podcast. And I guess that's it. You want to add anything?
No, I don't.
All right. What should we end with? What do we end with? What do we end our podcast with? We need some sort of tagline.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure one out on the next podcast. All right. Appreciate it. Peace out. Peace out? We can do peace out. All right.
Okay, Tony.
All right. We out.